Cloning, dronings, vessels, golden age, new age, hallucinations, hallucinogenics. First thing I want to say, and going into hybrids as well. There are vessels in this world that are taken over by entities of human beings cannot perceive that even exists, yet alone they don't believe in. Because one only believes in what he feels and sees and smells and touches around them. Nothing else beyond that will exist or does exist. But see, it could be the flaw of humankind thinking we are the only ones taking the realm we currently exist in is the only realm there is. But humanity does not really break the cycle of its own intelligence, because its own intelligence is limited compared to everything else that would exist around it, compared to everything else that would live outside of its own mental state of being, because yet alone we are fallen, we are a repressed, not only fallen, but we are a repressed, fallen state of being without reason. Because one cannot argue around his own theological beliefs that he may be wrong, that she may be wrong, going into an orthodoxes of reason or without reason, that one can say or without saying that there are beings of this world in different corners and parts of this world one can't even perceive that exist, because we've only seen it in our books and our movies. We call them myths, we call them legends, we call them folklores. They're nothing more than that. They've never existed, they don't exist. Some would say that not even dinosaurs were never alive. Giants are fake. It's all fantasy written by man. The narratives, the flaws ran by humanity itself, with reason or without reason. Because think about droning and cloning, for instance, that in order for this to happen, and even with Braille, the covering of a right eye, or the right eye, that parasitic worms would take over the host of the vessel and have its own mannerisms, pick up on its own mannerisms and personality, and still resemble the same person, but still not the same person. Entities taking over the person for its own benefit and its own characteristics and everything, even its flaws. Count it not strange when these things happen and do occur. Count it not strange. Count it not strange. And yeah, we forget so much. There's so much it's not even that we don't believe, we just cannot perceive of something because it just seems so outerworldly. It don't seem like it would even be real. Like nothing outside of our own truths of reality and spectrums can create such a thing, such a place, such a being. But only in the movies, only in things we know to be true, which would be all it's in a movie. stuff like that doesn't exist. Like when you would ask something, to even ask a question, that's something so crazy. Well, you are a crazy person. You are not thinking logically because your way of thinking is not truthful, it's more fantasy like. And so going into even hybrids, for instance, I have to say, well, hybrids, have they existed? Do they exist? Is there disembodied spirits that used to roam, that roam the earth even today, that appear even as cryptids to people, everyday normal people, of the beings that used to run this world and rule our world and run amok? Also, going into, splicing of genes, especially when I talk about things like blood, graphene, everything else. Such as where you get hybrid theory from, narratives being pushed over civilization, society, for being more of a controlled narrative of something that would be coming through things, different things. One, if they know the truth really cannot be controlled by any obstacles, they may think in this world may try to control you, but it's not. It's not really controlling. It's just trying to hurt you, harm you, mislead you, deceive. But in the end, when a person leaves this world, where do they go? And also, even people who have taken hallucinogenics have even talked about seeing different hybrids, such as what they call the machine elves, things that are trying to show them things almost like disembodied spirits, and spirits themselves. Really takes you back to the whole disembodied spirits of what we see in the physical. And people have hallucinations. I can tell you the time when I had smoked quite a bit of marijuana and I had seen portals open up. And this would happen every time, and things would come out. Beings of your wildest imaginations, humanoids, beings such as werewolves, that were also spiders, hybrid beings, fairy, what they call the fae ones, the fays, fairies, wolf fairies that were also wolves, staring back at me and I would stare back at them. Other beings and creatures, How is it we see these things, the hallucinations, and also in the physical realm of what they would call cryptids? See it in the shows, old shows you had seen on TV, such as Monster Quest and all the other ones. And so one would have to wonder, it's just, does this stuff make logical sense, and how is there a connection between the hallucinations and what we see in the physical realm of the disembodied beings, and were these the beings that used to roam our planet long ago before we were even born? And now the reason we're seeing these things again, because there would be something that would take place, something that would eventually happen. A time that would be coming even through what the New Agers call the Golden Age, and something that would come even before. Was there a Golden Age and things, and a big climatic event that would take place, and that took place long ago before we were even born? One has to wonder about these things. Why? Why did that happen? Why? And what was taking place at the time of these so-called events? Were they malevolent? Were they dark? What really was taking place during this time? Some would call it evolution, some would call it revolution. What was it that took place? Bye now.